Most people train abs a lot. They add crunches at the end of every workout, they chase burn and soreness, and still, their abs never really show. That's usually not a motivation problem, and it's not because they don't train them often enough. It's because they train abs without understanding what actually makes them grow and show. Abs are muscles like any other. They respond to tension, they respond to control, and they respond to progressive overload. But most AB workouts are built around random movements instead of clear functions, too many exercises, too little structure, and no clear goal. That's why some people train abs for years and still rely on good lighting to see them. In this video, we're simplifying things, not by doing less work, but by doing the right work. If your goal is visible abs without thickening your waist or ruining your V-taper, you don't need endless variations. You need 3 exercises that each do a very specific job. One to directly train the abs through controlled flexion, one to overload them properly, and one to build the lower portion while keeping the midsection tight. Together, these 3 cover everything that matters for AB development. No fluff, no filler, just a simple blueprint you can repeat week after week. Let's start with the foundation. The first exercise is a crunch variation. This is the most direct way to train the abs. Spinal flexion, ribs moving towards the pelvis, and despite what some people say, crunches are not useless. They're just often done poorly. Most people rush through the movement, they pull with their neck, or they turn it into a half sit-up. When that happens, the abs lose tension almost immediately. What you want instead is control. Lie down, exhale slightly, and curl your upper body up by contracting your abs, not by yanking your head forward. The range of motion is small. That's fine. The goal isn't to come all the way up. The goal is to keep tension on the abs from start to finish. You should feel this high on the front of the abdomen, right below the ribs. If you don't, slow it down. 2 to 3 seconds up, 2 to 3 seconds down. This alone makes the exercise completely different. Once body weight becomes easy, you can add load, a plate, a dumbbell, or a decline bench. Abs grow when they're challenged, just like any other muscle. Train this exercise 2 to 3 times per week. Moderate reps, full control. This builds the visible blocks most people think of when they say abs. But for real progress, we need load. This is where cable crunches come in. If you want your abs to actually grow, this is one of the most effective tools you can use. The cable gives you constant tension. It allows precise load adjustments, and it keeps the movement honest. Set the pulley high, grab the rope, kneel down. From here, the movement is simple. You're not pulling the rope down with your arms. You're curling your torso by contracting your abs. Think ribs down, pelvis stable. Your elbows move because your torso moves, not the other way around. At the bottom, pause briefly. Feel the abs fully shortened, then slowly return to the starting position. This exercise teaches you how to control spinal flexion under load. That's exactly what most AB routines miss. And because you can progressively increase weight over time, it becomes a real hypertrophy exercise, not just a burn. This is where many people finally see change. 2 to 4 sets, controlled reps, no swinging. You don't need extreme weight, you need tension. Now, one important clarification. You'll notice we're not doing heavy side bends or aggressive twisting here. That's intentional. For most people chasing visible abs and a clean V-taper, direct oblique hypertrophy isn't necessary. Heavy rotational work can thicken the waist visually. That doesn't make those exercises bad, they're just not needed for this goal. Instead, we focus on exercises that build the abs while keeping the midsection tight and balanced. And that brings us to the final movement. The third exercise is a leg raise variation, hanging leg raises, captain's chair, or lying leg raises if you're just starting out. This movement targets the lower portion of the abs while forcing the core to stabilize. And this is where many people make mistakes. They swing their legs, they use momentum, and the hip flexors do most of the work. To fix that, slow everything down. Start from a dead hang or stable position. Posteriorly, tilt your pelvis slightly, then raise your legs with control. The key isn't how high your legs go, it's whether your abs initiate the movement. At the top, pause briefly, lower slowly. If you can't control the descent, the exercise is too hard. Bend your knees or reduce the range. This exercise does more than just hit the lower abs. It teaches your core to resist extension while moving the hips. That carries over to better posture, better lifts, and a tighter midsection overall. 2 to 3 times per week is plenty. You don't need endless sets, you need quality reps. When done correctly, this exercise completes the AB development picture. Before we wrap this up, there's one thing that holds most people back, even when they choose the right exercises. Execution. Ab exercises are simple on paper, but small mistakes change where the tension goes. The biggest one is rushing. Fast reps feel harder, they create burn, but they reduce time under tension, and abs respond best when the movement is slow and controlled. If you swing through crunches, momentum does the work. If you yank on the cable, your arms take over. If you swing your legs, your hip flexors dominate. That's why two people can do the same exercise and get completely different results. The fix is simple: slow everything down. Every rep should start with the abs, not the arms, not the hips. Exhale slightly as you contract. Feel the rib cage move towards the pelvis. Pause briefly when the abs are fully shortened, then control the way back. Another common mistake is adding load too fast. Abs are small muscles. They don't need extreme weight to grow. If your form breaks down when weight goes up, the load is too heavy, progress should feel boring. Small jumps, clean reps. When the movement stays clean, the abs stay under tension. And that's what drives development. The other question people always ask is how often the abs should be trained. The answer is simpler than most expect. You don't need to hit abs every day, and you don't need marathon sessions. 2 to 3 sessions per week is enough for most people. Pick 1 or 2 of these exercises per session. Train them with focus, then move on. Sets don't need to be excessive. 2 to 4 quality sets per exercise is plenty. What matters is that the reps stay controlled and repeatable. Progression is where most people stop paying attention. If the reps stay the same week after week, nothing changes. That doesn't mean adding weight aggressively. It means adding something. 1 more rep, a slightly longer pause, a slower negative. Those small changes add up over time. Abs respond well to consistency, not intensity spikes. If you train them the same way you train any other muscle, progress becomes predictable. And predictable progress is what builds visible muscle. Once that foundation is there, everything else becomes easier. One last thing that matters more than most people think is expectations. Abs don't change week to week, they change month to month. If you constantly switch exercises, routines, or rep schemes, it becomes impossible to see what's actually working. That's why simplicity matters here. Stick with the same movements, track small improvements, and give your body time to respond. When the process stays boring, the results stop being random. So if you strip ab training down to what truly matters, this is it. 1 exercise for direct flexion, 1 for load and progression, 1 for lower abs and control. You don't need daily ab workouts, you don't need 20-minute finishers, you need structure and consistency. Train these movements with intention, control the reps, add a load gradually, and most importantly, give them time. Visible abs aren't built in weeks. They're built through months of repeatable work. If fat loss is part of your goal, that still matters. Abs don't show without it. But when the muscle is there, everything becomes easier. This approach keeps your waist tight, your abs balanced, and your training simple. No chasing pumps, no random circuits, just 3 exercises, done well. Because real ab development isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things long enough.